Welcome to the 2025 edition of The View with Vertex at Scaffchamp powered by Layer. We are here with the first guest in the studio, Brandon Marton of Scaffold Insite, all the way from Canada.
All the way from Canada. Good to meet you.
And like it literally is good to meet you because we probably met, 30 minutes ago at best?
Yeah.
But off camera, we were kind of speaking about the software and the kind of the technology that you guys are putting together. It sounds pretty remarkable.
It's not being done in the industry. There's lots of great software out there that helps us design and manage inventory, but nothing is really working for the field, and nothing is helping us plan and be able to repackage that planning for future work that we're already doing, while also providing transparency and insight for the project owners.
So for like those that don't know and are hearing about Scaffold Insite for the first time, what would the elevator pitch be?
It's essentially advanced workplace planning for scaffolding. In industrial construction, we plan everything except for scaffolding. We just do it on the fly. Everything is considered time and material and just move forward with scaffolding. This brings us at the table so that we can talk about what we're doing. It helps us in postmortems, and it helps us do the next year's maintenance because we've already done this work once. We've now got the templates packaged up to continue that work and continuously improve on that work, knowing what we've done.
It's an old kind of management mantra. What gets measured gets managed. But it, like you say, it does happen so often. It's missed so often, rather, in the scaffolding industry. And most of what we do tends to be looking backwards. So with what happened on the last project, at best we can sort of unpick it and make our best guesses on what's happened previously.
Precisely. It's very reactive. Our industry is reactive, even by its nature. We're simply asked to build a scaffold and we go do it. We apply resources. Good management always tries to mitigate the use of materials so that we know our resources, but we don't really have any way of seeing what we have, what we're doing, what we've done, and what we're doing next, especially not on a dashboard level. So this brings that to our projects now, both for the trade group, the scaffold company, and the project owner, all to see visibility in what they're doing. It digitizes our process completely. So even as a trade, you know when your scaffold's being built, like a pizza order, you see where its progress points are, and you're getting more communication along the way. That way, you're not interrupting the flow just by asking, is my scaffold going to be ready? When is it going to be ready? Because you can see that in a dashboard, off your phone, on a computer, whatever way you're engaging. And for the scaffold company, they now know resources. One of the key use cases for this is, we've got X million pounds of material out in the field. And in reality, the client wants to know exactly that number. And they'll spend weeks counting, guessing, what do we have up, what do we have on the ground, what's still in the yard. And really the only thing we really know is what's in the yard, because that's where invoicing is coming out of. So we know those numbers. This will just tell us in a quick report exactly how many pounds of material are up, exactly what's on the ground and what's in the yard. It's transparent and available. And furthermore, we're able to recycle our material and know what we have or don't need. For example,
so there's like efficiencies in like keeping the operation as lean as possible.
Precisely. One of the biggest questions is generally, how much material do we need? Right. And again, on industrial projects, we have millions of pounds of material being brought to site, and maybe we're running out of a 2-meter standard. Let's just order more. We're going to keep ordering more, bring it in. You got truckloads hitting the roads. They're traveling far distances to get to site. When the reality is, we probably have anywhere from 40 to 60% of the scaffolds that are out in the project not being used by anybody. And for really the first time ever, we have a process of managing exactly which scaffolds are in use, not in use, by engaging the trades on the project as well. They scan a QR code and they apply what we call a lease to it. And that just tells us that they're using it. And if they don't, it tells our system that it's not in use. So very quickly the project...
So it's a moment to be an honest John and go, well, look, this isn't being used.
It's going to be dismantled. We're going to take it off site. Or not off site, but just we're going to tear it down. And we're going to open up that space and reallocate those resources. And that comes in a very simple report as well. So we can constantly look at something and as management determine whether or not we should leave a scaffold in place because it's being used by everybody, or no one's really touched this in 2 years.
And it can be that, you've got these huge industrial sites. It really can be.
Oh yeah.
Like I remember some of the ones that I used to work on, sort of in the earlier days on the tools. And you're right, there'd be scaffolds that are just sort of built underneath a piece of pipe racking or something like that, rusted. They've been a steam leak onto them, and the boards are swollen up like this because they've just been there for ages and ages and ages. It's like, and I think the sort of logic is, well, we might need it, or someone, someone must know why it's there, and rather than ask the question, does anyone know why this is here? They just kind of leave it and hope for the best. It's a very, very reactive environment, and like you say, especially from a scaffolding perspective. What gave you the sort of motivation to start up? Where did you see the gap?
So I'll start by saying I'm a millennial. So I saw tons of inefficiencies when I first got into industrial construction. I've been involved in construction for just about 20 years now, and 15 of those years has been in industrial. First thing I noticed is that everybody else has work packs, models, access to information, and scaffolders were like, just go do. Yeah. And that's the way it was running. And when I started to work out of the field and into the office as a coordinator, there was just a lack of access to information for everybody. Scaffold requisitions are coming in. Nobody knew the last number that they wrote down. There's duplicates. And it was just, it was a low-hanging fruit to digitize. And I mean, that's being done regardless of anything.
Yeah, you said before, some things you can literally, a Google form or
easy stuff, right?
Yeah.
So digitization, well. Everybody, there was a digitization path, and there was all kinds of softwares that came out that digitize your forms, and that's not what I wanted to replicate. But we really wanted to make sure that we were building a process that didn't interrupt the field. Very important. It was built from the field for the field and by the field, but works to provide the office what it needs to be able to better manage. And it allows smaller organizations, which my organization was, to be able to manage massive projects because it's data driven. And so we are making data driven decisions to plan and execute, and we're able to deliver reports immediately instead of sending it back to the head office. We'll generate a report of what we think our client wants to see, and a week later we hand it over, and by that point the data isn't relevant to them anymore. So we're having better relationships with, as a scaffold organization, to the project owners, and it's more transparent communication between.
I think that Domino's pizza analogy is the perfect one, isn't it? It's like, your pizza isn't getting to you any quicker. It's taking as long as it takes. Maybe, at some point later down the line, we can use these KPIs that, the reports that we generated and make the process quicker because we have collected that data. But even right off the bat, as soon as you've started, the client has information as to what is the next step in the process, and
absolutely.
When does the next step happen? Yeah. Is there anything we could, you've got eyes on at all times.
At all times, from all angles, and for everybody. It's meant to facilitate everybody, the trades, the scaffold company.
As in the guy on the ground.
The guy on the ground, exactly, right? And it eliminates the finger pointing, and it opens up the conversation. And so now we're working collaboratively.
We were talking off camera, it was just like the kind of finger pointing, and do some, I think you used a great term for it, like the chaos.
Chaos is cash.
Yeah, chaos is cash mentality.
Yeah.
And for both sides, I guess it does away with that, doesn't it? It's like, we're not just sitting back and going, well, we'll just let them make a mess of that because then we can charge them for more and more. I think it's for me, I feel that's a very short-sighted mentality. I think you get a contract, you do well on that contract, and there's a good chance you don't get the next contract, and they put it out to tender again.
That's right.
You've got a really great use case there of saying, this is why you shouldn't put this out to tender again, because look at these data points we've collected, and we can actually go back in and make that more efficient next time and every time.
Absolutely, exactly. That you're redoing those work packs, you're making them more efficient. They're living documents, and you're they'd have no reason to go elsewhere. And it makes us more professional as an industry as a whole. But absolutely, between the client and the contractor relationship, it makes it a much stronger one that's very collaborative.
That's really amazing. I'm so looking forward to all of the stuff that you've got coming up. I know you mentioned some other stuff. We'll probably have to catch up another time because we're super stretched. I can see people queuing up to jump in the hot seat next. But sure. Brandon, it's been fascinating stuff. I'm sure we're going to catch up again pretty soon. Lastly, just where can people find?
So Scaffold Insight, go to scaffoldinsight.com. It's INSITE.com, play on words here. You can see it up on the screen, and you can reach out to the email on the site or myself, Brandon Marton. Find me on LinkedIn and love to connect.
Perfect.
Great. I truly hope you enjoy this episode. If you do, all I ask is that you like, subscribe, and get notified every time we drop a new episode.